Hello and welcome everyone. I am your host slash event coordinator, Atori, also known as Khalid Ramadan. If you see me on track, then let me go. And we are here for a brand new event here on FRS as well as SimSpec Media with the one-to-one series. First attempt at this brand new series to replicate some real life events. And today's flavor of the month is the GB4 series, a quite popular series for young and upcoming drivers in the Formula Ladder. And it's ran at a wild varieties of tracks here in the UK. And we have picked just one race weekend for your viewing pleasure, meaning the Silverstone F4 combo here on iRacing. And we are featuring a lot of GB4 spectacles in terms of multiple heats, qualifying order rules, and a pretty authentic point system as well to help crown an event for today's race. So, we are just coming up towards the end of FP1, which should hopefully then lead straight into qualifying. Naturally, here on SimSpec Media, we've got a whole slate of races upcoming, both today and for the coming weeks and hopefully months. So, as we switch over, we can take a look at some of the upcoming races for the week here, or probably a little bit sooner than that. Today we've got the one-to-one series right here, right now, and then a little bit later in the evening, roughly about 2 hours from now, we will be showcasing the finale of the Samsung GT3 Championship at Road Atlanta to decide the remaining classes of Pro-Am and Am. Pro has already titled a victor, but with prizes in offer, it's all to play for. And tomorrow we'll be having the penultimate round of the GRL Jeddah Championship at Hockenheim National B. Always a fun experiment to see some of the alternate Hockenheim tracks. And we will be returning with a PSRL doubleheader over the next 2 weeks at Brands Hatch and Donington. And that will be followed by the Mini Duro Britcar 2.4 featuring GT3 and GT4 multiclass at midday Sunday, September 13. All right. So we've got a qualifying set to happen in a little bit. So I say a little bit, it's already started. So let's just cut to it straight away. And hopefully we should get some pretty impressive lap times over the course of the race, as we try and find someone on track to do justice. And we've got a few rules here for the on-track running, namely the fact that towing is not allowed outside of the pit lane. So if anybody here has a bit of an oopsie or a big crash or anything of the sort, or needs to go answer the door and tows, then that is it for them. So big emphasis on getting that qualifying time in, and also a very big emphasis on making sure they get a second lap time in, as Q1 will be setting both the grids for race 1 and race 2. So we've got a few guys that are looking to get us started. We've got Federico Pedrini here on screen right now, in a little bit of a gaggle here. I believe that might be Christian Jewell just behind him. The splendid RB Racing Bulls livery. Kind of do wish they went back to the Toro Rosso name, that just worked so well, but hey ho. Either way, coming through Luffield right now. Lots of different lines we've seen people take, especially when in congested traffic. And these F4s are very interesting on a track like this. Given the relative low power, it would possibly have been nicer to run on a smaller configuration like the national or the international layouts. But we're here to do the GB4 justice, and what better way to do that than to run the full layout. A little bit of a smaller grid. We've got about half the size they would in real life. But the action is still one and the same. Coming out of Maggots and Beckett's there. Of note here is that I believe that is actually Julian Carsees just behind him, who managed to set some purple mini sectors. No one's had any off tracks or anything just yet, so hopefully we'll be seeing some people set some times. And we're looking at about 2-minute lap times, so these guys are going to be hard pressed to try and get a valid second lap in. So McDermott just ahead of him sets a very fast time, and the lap times are coming in plenty. Stitch has managed to set a 2:03.7 to get us up and going. Julian just behind Pedrini here. Oh, there he goes off. So he is going to be in a world of hurt. Apologies, that is the wrong camera cut. It was actually Julian Carsees. No, never mind. Usually it tends to be that the camera cut that goes wrong stays wrong, but hey, we managed to get Christian in a spin, so he's going to have to go again. It was Julian that went off as well, so hopefully he manages to keep it going just fine. Very big importance placed on getting a valid second lap in to try and get placed ahead of so many of the other cars on the field. And big emphasis here on the rookies that are included in this field. So there has been a cutoff of around 1300 IR to help denote the rookies here. At the moment that will be Papanis and Dakota Hawkins. Aerith hasn't joined us yet. Oh, apologies, Aerith has joined us. It's just not set a valid lap time yet. So we'll have a look in with our pole sitter, or provisional pole sitter at the moment, Ewan Stitchbury. I got too used to calling him Stitch that I keep forgetting how to say the first name. So apologies ahead of time. So what will Stitch be doing here for his lap? Got to be very careful with the sausage curbs there, and hopefully managing to get a little bit of a slipstream as well. And we see an improvement of about 0.2, so good 2 laps here. We can grab the roll bar cam to see the sort of running he can manage here. Was pestering race control for the chat to set some practice laps, but he's well in his element at the moment. Heading down towards, I believe, Brooklands. Spot his braking marker there, just before the 50. Watch out for those anti-cuts, so I hope he didn't invalidate it there. Lovefield, very narrow line. I believe that maybe Carsees, no, Pedrini getting out the way. Getting up there in speed at the moment. Little downshift for Cops. Oh, well off. I'm assuming that's going to be invalidated lap time. But worthwhile to stick around. Just to have a good look at Maggots and Beckett's. Got to tip it in and open up the last corner as well as you can. There's a sneaky off track there on the exit, but seems like he was fine. And let's see if we can get the track map up as well. So a relatively congested part of the track. Conor McDermott ahead, just about managing to set his lap. A little bit of a snap there for Stitch. But it doesn't look like anybody's improving. But again, importance here is on setting those second fastest lap times. Not an improvement yet, so 2:05. Aerith, pretty much one of the few people still improving, or at least trying to set an improvement. Very good end towards their lap. So we'll see if we can grab them, hopefully. I believe Luca has entered the pit lane, so with a minute to go, I don't think we're going to get any more running from them. We'll cut to Bruno in P7 at the moment, 2 seconds off of the pole time. So 2:07, quite a ways behind. And I would be amiss to say if there is a chance for people to finish their laps. I don't think that will be the case. But alas, we vibe. Have a look at anybody else finishing their laps. I believe we've had a spin further behind. That might have been Dakota Hawkins. And with 10 seconds to go, it does look like Stitch will be taking pole by convincing half seconds ahead of Cassis and Pedrini. And for the second lap times, it will also be Stitch on pole for race 2. And it pretty much means that the order is as expected. So quite impressive, really. The only people losing out at the moment will be Julian Cassis being unable to set a second lap, who did manage to go off as well. So we'll have a look at what happened to them real quick. I don't think we're on for improvement here, so I will cut this look short. Oof. Straight off, and with it being the end of qualifying session. In for a penny, in for a pound. You got to give it your all. And that was Julian off there. So it does look like people are getting the chance to finish off their laps. It doesn't look like we're getting too many improvements as well. So probably can get to congratulating Stitch on a very successful qualifying session here. That's very well done for them. And just for my own admin purposes, I will very quickly post the second best times. And it is pretty much as expected. Pedrini did manage to pip Julian, who has fallen all the way down to about 8th place after failing to set a second lap time. Very unfortunate to see. So he's got it all to do in race 2. And we'll just watch the last of the lap times coming across the line, which is Gianluca. And there he goes. So I believe that should be the end of qualifying. Well, very impressive performance by all round. And we will be cutting head to race 1. So just waiting for things to tick over. There we go. There we have it. And I should be able to give you the grid for the race. So without further ado, we've got Ewan Stitchbury on pole with a 2:03.6. And that will be followed by Julian Cassis, half a second back. Very, very close fight between himself and Federico to try and occupy that front spot ahead of Christian Jules, Quigley, McDermott, first of the cars, a second plus down. Bruno, Kai, Galagos, and then the rookie drivers at the back of the field, probably as expected. Luca, Dakota, and then Aerith without a valid lap. Right. We're just waiting for the last few cars to pit here. or to rather grid up. That timer has started early. It is 10 minutes. And we're just waiting for things to kick off. Either people are burning off some excess fuel or just like to hear the sound of the F4 engine roar. Just waiting for Kai Galagos on the right side to get going. So Carl might have been half a second off the pace here in qualifying. But with the inside line, he has a great chance of managing to annoy his Aura teammate for the lead into turn 1 and possibly turn 3. So beyond that, we've got Federico here splitting up what would have been an Aura 1, 2, 3, and we've got Kai on the grid. So we're ready to get going. Lights are on. 4, 5 lights, and we're away. And Stitch seems to have gone away quite well. And he seems to have cut across Julian nice and cleanly. Bruno has come ahead of Gianluca. We've got a car going quite deep in the background. Just got to watch that rejoin. Pedrini has managed to fall in behind, so it is an Aura 1, 2, 3, and he's gone sideways. Oh no. Oh, and that's Connor probably tangling with him a little bit more. So they've dropped all the way to the back here. So they've got to watch that rejoin. The Aura boys will probably be playing the team game here, so they'll be running away. We'll have a look further back as we are single file for the most part. Kai and Gianluca, so it was Gianluca that went off. Oh, I've got another off. What's happened here? And that's Christian Jewell. So we'll be bringing up a replay very soon. Oof, that's very unfortunate to see. In the meanwhile, we've got a lot of action behind. Oh, and that's Pedrini that's now gone around. No, apologies. That was... who was that? That was Pedrini. Yes, it was. I should never double guess myself. So Pedrini has dropped all the way to the back behind Dakota. He's having to check up here as well, so he's going to get off track there for his troubles. And that has advanced Kai Galagos into 3rd place. So one of the later joiners on the grid, who's now being given the hurry along by Gianluca. And one of the big gainers here is Aerith. Who is managing to give way now to Bruno Cini. So probably a way of wanting to just managing to survive and keep it going just well. And Gianluca is looking on the inside. Oh, this is going to be a side-by-side affair here. Off the track goes Kai, cuts the inside, so he's going to possibly serve a slowdown here. And that will give Gianluca the position here on the podium. So we'll just watch the last few fights try and resolve themselves as Bruno moves past, I believe that's Christian, who tries to fight right back. Oh no, apologies. Oh, Kai Galagos has gone off again. That's Bruno actually in a fight with Aerith. Right across the nose there. And Christian Jewell has now joined the fray here. You'd expect the Aura teammates to play ball, whilst Cruzo is looking to play the role of spoiler here. Aerith defending quite nicely, and then Jewell behind, side by side, managing to get through. Brooklyn's just fine. Outside of Luffield is an inspired call, but he managed to survive just fine. So still going on the action here. This is pretty much the main battle available on screen, and with just over 6 minutes to go, we should hopefully get some further action, as we've got Bruno, I believe, having gone off track there. Christian managing to pull through on the inside. So that's a great move there on screen. And it seems like, for the most part, we are A-okay. I am stuttering a little bit because I believe Aerith has been blinking in and out of existence. Yep. Yeah, she has. So, do hope that her internet can pull together. Very deep entry there into what I believe is Stowe. Defensive line here, but does seem to break a little bit early. Side by side, kisses the sausage curb well deep, so that allows both Jewel and McDermott to get through. And some very clean fighting here, so this might be a good chance to try and get a look at some replays, hopefully. This 10-minute format has that we've not had the chance to have a look back with a bit of a lock-up there from Jewel in the background. Actually, no, Aerith rather, who will have to relinquish and settle back in, and hopefully to pick up more scraps like she did early on in the race with all of the incidents that happened. At the head of the field, we've not had too much. Stitch has set the fastest lap of the race, so some very good lap times here, as I can show very quickly in the pop-outs. Some very good lap times here. Fastest off the field, probably of no surprise. And then a little bit of a sliding skill down. Hawkins doing well to stay in the race. About half a minute back. But who knows, with the reverse grid later on, it should be some good chance for them to maybe gain some positions on the reverse grid. Well off the track goes Aerith again. 13x for a drive-through, so got to be very careful here. You can see the pair of Jewel and McDermott with various damage here. The nose cone for Jewel, the left side, the left element on the front wing there for McDermott. And I wonder if we can have a look at the opening lap shenanigans. So, very quickly, we've got Pedrini. So this was right at the start of the race. It's a bit too early, so McDermott seemed to have gone very deep, and they got into a little bit of a tangle, but managed to separate themselves. Christian got into a crash into Luffield, so this might have been on Aerith. No, this was for the podium, so that was against Julian. Oof, hope Julian didn't get any lasting damage from that one. It seemed mostly fine. And then Papanis, a little bit further up ahead, got into another incident. So it was a spin on exit, which almost collected Hawkins, and it did. But seems like he's managed to carry on just fine. And then Hawkins got into a incident a little bit later. So that timer at the top of your screen is live, so there's only 3 minutes left to the race. This was rather on the second lap, I believe. And it seemed like that was pretty much it. And just whilst we were looking at replays, McDermott going well wide, but managing to keep a defensive line. And this has led to Aerith getting right back at him just a bit later. Oh, and a bit more damage against McDermott. So that will be one for the stewards here. Oof, and McDermott, rightly or maybe not quite rightly, will feel quite aggrieved by that. But going back to live, we have now got a relative spread out of the field. The closest battle at the moment is Bruno, trying to fight for the top 5 here in race 1 with 2 minutes to go. So this should be white flag. Julian Cassis did go off track, and this seemed to have been at the end of Maggots and Beckett, and I can bring you that replay here. Here we go. So well deep, I did mention this off track, so tempted to push like hell. Well, he's kept it together, but that will be the end of his fight to stay with Stitch, who will now be starting his white flag lap. So hopefully he'll manage to keep things going just fine. And as always, we've got a whole bunch of action here both today and upcoming as well. We've got the Mini Duro race coming up in 2 weeks now, I believe, so time flies. As we've had a few more crashes whilst I've been trying to do my Mini Duro plug. But the link for the event is in the YouTube chat, so you can check that at your own leisure.
Yeah, that's fair.
We can have a look at the incident that happened further back. So Dakota Hawkins crashed. I believe that might have involved Luca. Though seeing as he is quite a ways back here on the replay, this might have been a separate incident. I think this might have been at the same time. So a little bit of a spin. And Luca just spinning as well at the exact same time. So just 2 incidents at relatively close succession. Stitch coming through the final parts of Maggots and Beckett's. Managing to keep it online just fine, and it's probably a case of just giving it whatever minimum effort is needed here to bring it to the end of the race. Aerith has been listed as out, so I don't know if this is... Yeah, okay, no, it's just more blinking. The tyres are sliding and are squealing. As we go through Stowe, the crowd are roaring. Full capacity here for the 11-car grid. So we come through the final corner onto the Hamilton straight to win Heat 1. As there goes Stitch, Julian Cassis and Gianluca Carigli round out the podium. And we've got Kai Galagos and then Christian Jewell in the background. Bruno Cini in very close fight. Aerith taking 7th place. Pedrini following closely behind. And Conor McDermott will feel somewhat aggrieved. But a good effort to still finish the race. We've got Papadis. I am hoping I'm pronouncing that correctly. Coming through relatively gingerly. But still, great effort here for the rookie to bring it in. And then just waiting on Dakota Hawkins to round out the end of the race here. So, that is the results. So whilst I leave you with those results, I will go and try and set up the grid very quickly. So I'll be right back.
Julian, hold it a second, the other two are catching up.
Yeah, the one that almost killed me in the first lap.
Yeah, my bad on. Good.
Alright, so that was some very impromptu grid setting for the race upcoming, which will be in a completely separate session. And that will take a little bit of time to get going. So just to round up the race 1 results, we've got Stitchbury taking it convincingly from not even the start, from right from the start, from qualifying all the way through to the end of race 1. We've got Julian Carses taking the 2nd place after a small tap from Christian on that lap 1 entry into Brooklands, but managing to hang on just fine. Gianluca fighting through to take the podium here ahead of Kai Galagos. And then we had Christian, Jules, Bruno Cini, Erith, Federico, and McDermott all in a very tight fight for pretty much the tail end of that race. And then Luca Papadis and Dakota Hawkins rounding out the grid. I know I did. I had to manually set the grid stitch, so unfortunately it was either that or you guys having to deal with iRacing placing you guys randomly. So though having said that, I'm assuming you probably went off track here, so I can show things. So that was a very interesting approach there at the end of the race. Damn, they gave you the alternative line they use for historics, and you still decided not to take it. So impressive run there. And we've got our winner here. Very nice. Very nice. And just for the sake of giving you something as well for the broadcast. There we go. Lovely. Oh, into cops, they had all 14 cars, so that would probably be 14, 13. This is the hanger straight. Hold on. Very manual work here. Damn. All right. I'm doing my big no-no of never reversing on track here. But a good result here for the Oro boys. It was a 1-2. And Aerith and there we go. And then just for some cinematic cameras, pretty sure you can't get a 51G collision from this, but hey-oh. Well placed there. Very very impressive performance and a very impressive team display as well. Hopefully, Ohe won't be hammering any of you with penalties. So we'll see how that plays out. Right. I will be leaving you guys on a countdown screen whilst I go and switch over to the next session. All right. We are back for race 2 with the custom set grid, which hopefully should play ball. We have lost out on a few drivers here. Off the top of my head, I'm going to assume this is Julian Cassis, who actually is here. So I will have to double check with my notes on who is missing. I believe Luca hasn't rejoined us. So it will be interesting to see if anything, if we've had some issues with some people joining. But either way, hopefully we should be able to get straight into the action. Let's have a look if things will play ball here. As we've already got people gridding up. So we've got Kai Galagos in the lead of the race for some reason. So this gridding order has completely messed up. Yeah, this grid isn't completely right. You will have to bear with me.
Can we hurry up so we can watch IndyCar? Damn, it's spicy out there.
Just a little bit of chatter here. We've got a few cars missing and a few people not gridded properly. I'm unsure as to what iRacing has used, but either way, we will be going live. Here we are. So, Conor McDermott leading us off into turn 1. Just ahead of Julian Cassis. We've got a few cars dropping back. Gianluca. Just a little bit behind. We've got a few
moving
cars
on to braking, mate.
going off. Aerith is having issues, so it's probably a bad idea to have the camera focused on her. Let's go to Hawkins right at the back here. Look to switch back on Gianluca. We're still keeping it going. Oh, and he's gone straight into the back there of Gianluca. So what's happened there? My goodness. Right, we'll be checking back in on the replay there. So that is Gianluca with a meatball.
Hey.
So he's going to have to come back at the end of the race. Bruno at the moment in the center of shot. Still keeping it going. Aerith also shown with a meatball. I don't know if that will be a network connection one, because I've seen that happen before. By the way, we've still got now about 6 cars that are still in the competitive running. Bruno with a very good exit here now on Connor. And he slots in ahead of him. So, very good running there. Seem to have cut back to Gianluca. We've got Stitch here, winner of race 1. So he's got it all to do here. Jumping on board to the roll bar. Well into the slipstream now. So what will he do here? Is he going to take us 3 wide? He will. Let's get an exterior shot here to see how people run into the corner. Bruno on the outside line. You'd imagine he'd get some sort of a run, but he does get wedged out there by Connor. Connor on the outside line. And then well deep from, I believe that's Christian there. And he's managed to make it stick. What a move there. Definitely want to see that again. And Bruno comes right back at it with that outside line. We've got a fight at the head of the field as well. So we're going to have to cut to that soon. Side by side here. Hopefully he doesn't pinch him too much here, does Christian. We've got a fight further up the field as well. So Stitch managing to pull clear of everyone. Not quite here. Kai having lost 2 positions over the course of just a few quarters here on lap 2. As we've got Dakota Hawkins now finally in the pits. Side by side further behind. Is that still Christian and Bruno? It is. Very narrow line here into Brooklands. And Bruno doesn't seem to be able to take advantage. A little bit of a wobble there mid-corner. The Danish flag there on the shark fin. So what can Bruno manage to do here? Looks on the inside. Nothing to do. Oh, goes well off the track there. And it's still all to play for. So we've got a fight for the lead here at the moment. Side by side, through Mackins and Beckett's. Stitch on the very outside line. And he goes round. Oh, no. Oh, goodness me. That was rough. That was rough to watch. And Gianluca goes through as he takes the spoils there. He's got a meatball, so he'll have to pit soon. There's no way he's going to last till the end of the race. He'll have to pit within 3 laps. So we can have a look at what happened to Stitch. And it looked really good there. So as we get out the slow-mo there, I don't think it was netcode. There was loads of space. Yeah, the car just let go. Good thing to spin away from the cars there, as he spins it the right way around and keeps it going. So we'll check back in with him later. No doubt the mistake of gridding has left him with a lot of work to do here. As Julian Carse is now in the lead of the race here for Aura Motorsports, being chased by Connor McDermott. And well into the slipstream now. If you have a view of the gearbox cam here, it indeed is. Much narrower
your
line
mic
there.
is beyond ineligible.
There we go. Much better exit there from Julian.
Oh, that's good to know.
We've got Bruno right onto the back of Christian again. So we'll be checking in with their fights now, as that is the closest fight on track. Somewhat defensive line there from Christian. We saw Bruno getting tracked out a little bit there on the previous lap. Almost did the same. And he managed to go out ahead of him, so proper deep line there from Christian. It pays off. He manages to stay ahead of him. Coming out of the Maggots and Beckett's complex here. Menacing approach here from Bruno. Gianluca at the moment fighting with Stitch as well, I believe. So whether Stitch is just about kind of losing the pace he had from race 1. I'm also assuming Gianluca has done 3 laps now, so I don't know if he's going to get DSQ'd here. He's going to be very careful. So we're going to cut to the fight here as Bruno continuing to harass Christian. See him try alternative lines here, so very narrow approach. Doesn't quite commit to pull alongside. McDermott, as you can see on your timing page, is still right there in the picture with him. Now under 3 minutes to go, you would assume this would be white flag upcoming. So a lap and a half or so to go. And this is essentially one of the main fights on screen at the moment. We can bring up a track map to get an idea of how close the pack is. Pretty much most of the field either in or approaching Maggots and Beckett's. Dakota at the moment, the lone wolf at the back of the grid. And I'm assuming that's going to be 1x there for Christian. So nothing to do there. We can have a look at the fight for the lead of the race here. And again, it is technically top 12 inverted, so it will be a full reverse grid. Oof. Bit too close for my liking, and it was. Oof. McDermott spins twice and a half there. Christian goes well off the track to try and avoid him. And that concedes ground to Bruno. So it's all happened in the course of a few seconds. Everything got turned upside down. So what has happened here? that has allowed McDermott to drop way back and put Kai into second place. White flag as well, so you'd think Julian should just bring it home from here. And let's bring up the replay. So if we can go full speed here. So some contact there. And then we've got Kai going through. And then the second spin, Christian just opts to go way off the track there. And that has effectively kind of just cooked him for that position there. I wonder if I can get a replay up of his view angle, because it will have been very harrowing to see for him. So he saw him spinning, and then saw him continuing to spin, committed against it. That allowed Bruno to pull ahead of him. And into fourth place. So we can now cut to live, as this does represent the closest fight on track. And Jules did manage to get back past him. So what was it that has allowed him to take that position? I hope we get some respite with the upcoming Maggots and Beckett's complex, so we can have a look at where exactly he got past. So this was heading into Brooklands. Here on the final lap, Bruno tried to run him narrow, but as we saw in their previous fights in race 1, Christian does manage to get a very good exit here, and that has allowed him to stay ahead. And they are still fighting now with Stitchbury lurking in the background. Bruno cuts a very, very wide line here. Side by side, we're going to go to the chopper cam to get a good view of this. As Julian looks to take the checkered flag, we're going to stay with this fight. Contact again. Stitch will pull through. Is he going to try and get 2 for 1 here? He does. More contact, and in the space of a quarter or two, Stitch has jumped all the way to the podium position. Amazing fight there. I hope Bruno doesn't feel too aggrieved for that, because that was definitely a very good fight there. Didn't even get the chance to see other cars cross the line. Julian managing to take it for Aura.
Great battle, Bruno.
And I think that was him on the voice there. Very, very good fighting there at the end of the race. I hope we can bring up a replay here of that complex. We saw it in the chopper cam. Side by side. And Stitch was looking at this as the only chance for him to actually gain. A little bit of contact there, but he was on the apex. And unfortunately, we won't get the chance to have a look at the replay. Or actually, I think I might be able to get a look at the replay here. So let's have a look at the onboard here from Stitch's view. So this is Stitch approaching the 2 fighting. And realistically, this was going to be the only way he was going to take advantage. So the first gap that presented itself, a little bit of contact. Took full advantage and kept the narrow line. You might have thought Christian would have stayed there knowing this was coming. But through goes Hamilton. In a very good fight there at the end of the race. And well done to him there. Julian, we can give him his due running. I know, I did it in the replay, Stitch. Like, that's the best you're going to get. And Julian goes through for taking the checkered flag ahead of, I believe that was Kai Galagos. And then Stitch with the round out of the podium. If I was going to give an excuse for not having my full commentary hat on, it would be the fact that, well, I am running production and / event management at the same time. So either way, I can bring up the results, hopefully, for that first heat. Just for the sake of having a final standings to look at. So we've got Julian Carsees with Kai Galagos and Stitch taking the podium. Very close spread here. Jewel, why am I not addressed as the lap man? Because you gotta finish on the podium for it, bro. Come on, man. Christian on the just off of the top 3 steps here. Takes 4th place in a very close fought battle with Bruno. Gianluca, who managed to get to the end of the race there. I could have sworn he had a meatball, so I will have to ask him personally. And then we had Conor McDermott, very unfortunate with his incident earlier, demoting him down to 7th place. And then towards the back of the field, we've got Dakota, who after the incidents has managed to at least finish a lap down, so very good running on his end. And then Aerith, unfortunately not seeing the end of the race. So the fact that it is warm-up should hopefully give us the chance to have a look at what happened at the start of that race, because that was a very interesting incident to catch the tail end of. So he kind of just went straight on there and tagged Gianluca. So I don't know if Gianluca choked up or anything, or if it was something else that happened. You can have a look at the onboard here. So Aerith just appeared out of nowhere. Dakota dodged and unfortunately took Gianluca there. Very unfortunate running. I hope there have been some mentions there in Discord of apologies and such, but it can happen. Either way, we've got a grid of hungry race drivers hoping to take us away. A very quick look at the grid as well. Aerith on pole ahead of Dakota, thanks to the reverse grid and then effectively reverse order of the race 2 results. Conor McDermott, Gianluca, Bruno, the Lapman, Jewel, Stitchbury, Kai and Julian. As we're ready to go, we are away and a clean getaway from everyone involved. As we have a bit of a deep field here. Bruno side by side with Gianluca on the very inside line, and he gets involved. A little bit of a spin. Dakota, one of the people losing out there. Inside line against Bruno there by Stitch, who keeps things going just fine. And Dakota, unfortunately, with the flag. So we've got Bruno fighting on the inside there against Stitch. He's going to have to back out of that as it narrows up quite a bit. Christian there, right up on the back of Julian. Christian on the outside line there against Julian, which then becomes the inside for Luffield. So he's got to watch that turn in there on the outside. That's Julian. So he's hemmed in a little bit against Aerith, who's been dropping back from the lead of the race. But I don't think Aerith will mind. We'll be happy just to stay involved in the race. Gianluca right next to her. Gotta watch the off-track here on cold tyres. Kai Galagos, the last car here, wanting to fight against Aerith. But all line astern here. Dakota is about 8 seconds back, 10 seconds back here from this fight. So we can have a look at the lead battle here. Conor McDermott will have felt quite aggrieved, but side by side here with Stitch. Gotta watch that there around the outside of Stowe. Carries very good speed here, which will give him the inside line, so that will force Stitch to try a very deep brake, and he does. Runs right up on the tire. I don't think they had contact. Very good speed there. Christian, outside line. Whether that was him trying to attack Bruno. Didn't manage to keep going. Gianluca. Aerith side by side. Oh, Gianluca goes well wide. And no, when Aerith spins. I thought there was something on there, but it didn't manage to be the case. I'll have to cut back with the Aura boys here. Jewel still side by side with Julian. Come on, boys. Number 1 rule of racing. Don't crash into your teammate. And they've managed to keep that going just fine here. Leaders are still fighting fiercely. Christian decides to tuck in side by side behind. Gianluca has got the outside line against Kai, which then becomes the inside for Loffield, so good decision on him, that's paid off. Kai looking to tuck back in, a little bit of side spin. Lots of traction there for Gianluca, so that allows Kai to go through. And that will be side by side, and Kai pulls clear. Is the slipstream going to allow Gianluca to pull through again? I don't think so. So we're going to stay with this onboard battle a little bit. So he pulls alongside here, he does. Does he have the bravery to stick it around the outside? He does. Maggots. And then Beckett's coming up. Lost him a little bit of time on the field. Up and under on the exit of Beckett's. What a move. Side by side. And he's pulled well clear now. But it will definitely have to be a defensive performance here. Kai keeps his nose in. Confident turn from Gianluca. Thank you. And Gianluca keeps it going. Aerith is still blinking for us on our screens. So hopefully that will resolve itself. Bruno now fighting with the other Aura car of Julian, who's got a little bit of respite from Christian further behind. Let's have a look further back as we look at the... want to change to the gearbox cam. A little bit of a lock up there. So that has put Julian right into the clutches of Christian again. So Bruno is about 4/10 removed from McDermott. Right across the anti-cut there for Julian, as we can see here on the onboard. And we should see some very, very good slipstreaming here. Across the inside line there for a cheeky 100th. Well wide of the apex and well wide of the track limits. He's not going to mind. And in the midst of all that, he's pulled side by side with McDermott. So I wonder what happened to him. To now be involved in a 4-car battle. As Stitch is already looking to check out here. All the way down the hangar straight. Bruno looking to the inside line. We've seen this before. Julian is going to get right into the mix here. So Julian, he's going to force Bruno to stay there on the outside. Does he have a chance to break deep? No, he doesn't. So now he loses the position to Julian, who is now up in 3rd place. And now with 3 minutes to go, you'd expect this to be the penultimate lap here for race 3. The penultimate lap here for the 1-to-1 GB4 event. Had some hiccups with gridding and such. But alas, some intense battles here. Further back behind, we've got Kai locking up very quickly behind. Oh, we've got a spin. Oh, and it was Jewel that went into a tizzy at the loop. So what's happened to him here? On board, he was right at the tail end of this fight. All the way up on Bruno. Oh, he went deep. Oh! Oh, insane amount of contact. Holds his brakes. And keeps it going. And now Bruno's crashed. What's happened to him? So this won't be a live feed. So is this damage from the touch behind? It might have been. He cannot keep that car straight. Split by Gianluca and Kai. And he's kept it going just fine. So probably some damage. Very unfortunate to see. And that has now put our 4 cars that were covered by a blanket in a crazy fight there, down to just 2 cars here. Julian Carsees, the car behind, chasing Connor McDermott, who is trying his darndest to stop an Aura 1-2 with 1 lap to go. Oh, as he goes deep, a little bit of a moment right across the inside. I hope that's not a slowdown for him. Narrow line for Julian. And white flag. Good speed carried there. Stitch having eked out 4 seconds over the course of the battle from these guys. Inside look from Connor. Nothing to do. Really great fighting here. And well into the slipstream here. Inside line from Julian. Right up on that rear wing, you can see the decal well in display there. The surname on display. Meanwhile, further back, we've got Kai Galagos still in a fight with Gianluca. But we're just going to stay here for the battle for the podium here. So McDermott will have to leave it for the last straight here, side by side through cops. Contact! And these guys are still alive somehow. As Gianluca pulls through. So we're going to cut very quickly now to the podium again. And with half a second clear from McDermott, you'd think Julian has second place in the bag. And we'll cut to Kai as he's looking on the inside here on Gianluca. Doesn't track out all the way to him. So does this allow Gianluca to fight right back? On the exit of Stowe, Stitch managing to take victory here in race 3. But we're going to stay on board with the battle here. The Racing Point livery car of Kai, side by side. Gianluca on the inside line, and you think Kai has gone too deep here. Too much distance to cut back. And there we go, across the line. Gianluca takes P4.
3 for RRA and the championship.
Yeah, great fight there. Fantastic running there from everyone involved. And Bruno, unfortunate with what I believe to be damage, has demoted him quite a few positions. Aerith with a few incidents and some network issues, but managing to finish off the race. And hats off to Dakota, who has been having a rough go of it, but very impressive to see him still trying to make it to the end of the race here. As I believe we've got some obligatory donuts here from Aura. So we've got some donuts here, what I believe to be just before the loop. Amazing running here from a lot of the Aura guys involved to help fill out this
Also,
grid.
VK leading the IndyCar field.
Oh, nice. I do need to cut to IndyCar, but I've got a broadcast right after this. So,
Spoilers, Julian. Spoilers.
yeah, these guys will have been
Yeah, those
too
were
locked in.
great guys. Enjoyed that one. Also, a great battle with you, Christian.
And we'll let these guys resolve their thank yous and post-race congratulations, as we have a race result at the end of the race. So let's give a look at the results there for our final heat as we sign off on GB4 Silverstone. Stitch taking it with an exact 5-second lead over Julian for an Aura 1-2. A little bit of a hello YouTube there from Stitch. Just had it muted as we had a lot of audio here, but
Max Verstappen.
and yeah, Conor McDermott rounding out the podium. Gianluca, Kai Galagos, Christian Joule, and Bruno Cini going down to P7 after that incident. And the rookies at the end of the field, Aerith and Dakota, finishing up our grid with, I believe Luca was unable to join. And one more driver off the top of my head that I am just unable to follow. So, yeah, without ado, that is off for the race. So we've got the upcoming grid of... we've got the upcoming race of the Brit car in 2 weeks, as well as the race in an hour or so with the GT3s coming up in an hour. So without further ado, that is us. And yeah, I will leave you with a shot of the Ore Boys as I say adieu. Goodbye, everyone.